Hello and welcome to the Beaverton School District's Budget Listening and Learning video for the upcoming school year. My name is Jessica Jones and I am the district's budget manager. To get us started today, it is important to note that this is a legislative year, so our state school fund is unknown and will probably be unknown until late spring. And all of the numbers in this video are based on the best information today, and they will be changing in the coming weeks and months as we get more information. We will start with the district's operational budget, which is the general fund. The general fund has one major funding source, which is the state school fund. This includes all of our local property taxes. The general fund is where most of the district staff is funded, which includes our teachers and other personnel. This is a look of our district enrollment for the last several years. The enrollment is important to us because this is how we are usually funded based on the number of students we have and the demographics of students in our district. Our high point in the 2019-20 school year to our current projection for the 2023-24 school year is a decrease of over 3,000 students. This equates to approximately $31 million of state school fund revenue lost to the district. The state school fund history and projections. This shows the last several biennia and the percentage increase from each biennium and the district's portion. In late January, the governor released her budget recommendation for the state school fund for the 23-25 biennium at $9.9 billion. While this is really welcome news to us, the increase of 6.5% over a 2-year period is simply not enough to keep up with our rising costs. The revenue and expenditures for the general fund are on this slide. The revenue is the blue line and the red line is the expenditures. As we worked through the years of the pandemic, we have spent significantly less than our revenues, which built our district's reserves. We are currently projecting in 22-23 at the end of this school year to spend more than we are bringing in revenue. If we make no changes to our expenditures, we will widen the gap between the expenditures and revenue, resulting in a structural deficit. This slide represents our financial reserves. We have 2 types of financial reserves in this district. There is a 5% general fund reserve and a 5% reserve held outside the general fund. The blue on this graph represents the general fund ending fund balance, and our red is our financial reserves that are outside of the general fund. From our high point in the 2021-22 school year of $122.5 million, if we make no changes and use the information from the previous slide, we will be spending down these reserves, and by the end of the 25-26 school year, we'll not be able to meet our board policy for financial reserves. The next section is Aligning for Student Success, the integrated guidance. During the last several years, there have been more carve-outs allocated to the district as grants. How we spend these funds have been more restricted and directed from the Oregon Department of Education. 2 examples of these grants are the Student Investment Account and High School Success. In High School Success, for example, we can only spend these on high school students or students transitioning from the 8th to 9th grade. Our current Student Investment Account spending is on this slide. Our current award is $32 million. We do expect that this will go down in the future due to our student enrollment costs. Some of the major staff investments currently funded by the Student Investment Account are the equity-based classroom teacher allocations, behavioral health and wellness staff, and our academic coaches. In the High School Success Grant, our current award is approximately $11.2 million and also may decrease in the future due to student enrollment. And some of our major staff investments currently funded by High School Success are graduation mentors, 9th grade success leads, and career and technical education supports. Our next section is our federal COVID-related funding, also known as ESSER. ESSER stands for the Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Funds. Our ESSER awards were given to us in two amounts, and these are one-time funds that must be spent by September 30th of 2024. We are currently projecting that we will enter the next school year with approximately $19.8 million remaining to be spent. Considerations for developing our ESSER spending plans included our community and staff priorities, our student investment account and staffing allocation methodology priorities, operational HVAC repairs and replacements, the district's equity lens, and it's important to note that our plan will be updated for the next school year. The ESSER funds are spent in these strategies. If you look at the top of this list and see our top three, time and attention, relationships and mental health support, and improving the indoor air quality or school facility repairs and improvements, those three strategies make up over 80% of how we're spending our ESSER funds. Here's how we've spent our ESSER dollars in the 21-22 school year and our current plans for this school year and next school year. As you can see, we have been spending less in salary in each of these years as we've been shifting salaries to other funding sources to avoid a funding cliff as the one-time funds end in September of 2024. Next, we will go over some of our key upcoming dates. Here we are in February and gathering community input and priorities. I will be sharing some information on how you can provide your input in a few slides. We are reviewing staffing allocations with a large group for the staffing allocation methodology that includes representation from buildings and central departments. We are reviewing all central budgets, making some final adjustments, and later in February, we're expecting the co-chairs to release their budget framework, which will give us our next indication of where the state school fund will go. In March, we will receive final enrollment estimates, approve new student investment account plans, finalize our staffing allocation adjustments, and we will present to the Budget Committee a Budget 101 presentation. In May, we will continue our budget process by presenting our proposed budget to the Budget Committee, which the Budget Committee will approve later in the month to go to the school board for adoption in June. Input and prioritization. So this is where we need your help. We need input on the priorities using our available resources from the funding sources that we just talked about, our general fund, our student investment account, and our ESSER federal funds. We will use our students, staff, and community input in the district's equity lens to help determine budget priorities for our next school year. And as a reminder, our district equity lens is whose voice is and isn't represented in this decision? Who does this decision benefit or burden? Is this decision in alignment with the BSD equity policy? And does this decision close or widen the access, opportunity, and expectation gaps? To provide your input, please go to this website and there is a short survey for you to complete. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon.